2 weeks from Christmas. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
Motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Minutes approved. We have Mr. Mills. There you are.
All right, good afternoon, Council and Mayor. I have two applications tonight for you. The first one is HAR Incorporated, DBA Cottondale Tobacco Outlet at 5628 University Boulevard East. They currently have a alcohol retail beer off premises and retail wine off premises license, but now they want to switch over to a lounge retail class 2 package store license.
Are they?
That's your district, right?
Well, it's that's not in the city.
It's out in Cottondale area.
Yeah.
Are they in the city limits?
Yes, sir. It's the city limits.
That's Gerald Allen's
That's
there.
Gerald.
Gerald say no. Okay.
All right, and then the second application I have is for Downtown Entertainment LLC. Applying for DBA for Tuscaloosa Business Exchange, located at 420 Rice Valley Road North. They're applying for a special retail less than 7 days alcohol license application.
What's going on there?
It's at the TA TA school. They usually do something for the alumni, and that's who's actually hosting this event.
Oh, it's Tuscaloosa Academy alumni
Yes, sir.
event.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? Okay, thank you. All righty, Mayor Maddox.
I don't have anything to report, but we do have 3 issues for executive session, and I'd say 2, if not all 3, will take some time.
Well, I had my Wheaties this morning, like you said.
We'll have to explain it to the younger people.
You get breakfast of champions, right? That's sad.
Have Bruce Jenner on the front.
And Bruce Jenner on the front.
When he was a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I wanted to be like him. When I thought, I said, man, to be like Bruce Jenner, I could.
You changed your mind a few years ago.
I changed my mind, yeah. Something about the heels, I just couldn't handle it. All right. Any other department announcements, comments from anyone? Okay. Mr. Holmes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right, we've got a fairly lengthy agenda. Y'all had a busy public projects while I was gone for Thanksgiving. I am over on page 10 where you'll be authorizing the exercise of lease options for Dixie Air Services. This was discussed in properties last week. On page 11 and 12, you'll be authorizing a refund of surplus from the 2023 demolition assessment foreclosures auction. This again was discussed in properties last week. On page 13, you'll be authorizing a funding agreement with Schoolyard Roots. This is a total of $20,000. This was discussed in finance on the November 21st.
Mr. Hall,
Yes,
will the Dixie Air Services lease option reflect the consideration or whatever?
the resolution doesn't itself. There will be an addendum that will memorialize the additional commitment for Mr. Peck. Yes, sir.
Will we hand it that council tonight?
Not tonight. It is being drafted. The resolution authorizes the mayor to execute whichever documents we needed to get these options.
So we're not at, the only reason I'm asking that is if what happens in the event that doesn't occur?
Then we won't have signed anything over given the options to them.
So we're voting on that, assuming that happens.
Yes.
Okay. And if it doesn't happen, we will have another vote.
The options won't be
Yes,
granted, right?
it would come back to
It
us.
would come back to us.
Yes.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be granted. I agree. That's, yeah, okay, thank you.
On page 14, you'll be authorizing a funding agreement with the Tuscaloosa Transit Authority. That is a total of $20,000 and came to finance on December 5th. On page 15, you'll be authorizing a minor public works contract with Asphalt Resurrection LLC, DBA Everline Coatings and Services. This is a total of $4,940.43, and that was presented in projects last week. On page 16, you'll be authorizing a minor public works contract with Pro Clean Inc. This is a total of $4,900, and again, was presented at projects last week. On page 17, you'll be authorizing a minor public works contract with Crimson Carpet and Flooring. This is a total of $10,560, and again, was presented in projects last week. On page 18, you'll be authorizing the mayor to execute a renewal of the waste disposal service agreement regarding the Black Warrior Solid Waste Disposal Authority. Again, this was presented in projects last week. On page 19, you'll be authorizing the mayor to execute a primary services agreement and task order directive number 1 with TTL for Elevate Tuscaloosa. This is a total not to exceed $140,000, and again, was on projects last week. On page 20, you'll be authorizing amendment number 1 to professional services contract with Chambliss Kings Architect LLC. This is an amended total compensation amount of $706,790 and was presented in projects on November 21st. On page 21, you'll be authorizing a renewal of a professional services contract with DataWorks Plus LLC. This is a total not to exceed $3,880 and was presented in project on the 5th. On page 22, you'll be authorizing a disbursement from District 3 improvement funds for the Saratoga Pedestrian Pathway project. This is a total of $4,500 and was presented in finance on December 5th. On page 23, you'll be authorizing a disbursement from District 7 improvement funds for the Alabama Blues project. This is a total of $1,000 and was presented in finance on the 5th. On page 24, you'll be authorizing a disbursement from District 1 improvement funds for the Benjamin Barnes Men's Club dinner for seniors. This is a total of $1,500 and was presented in finance on the 5th. On page 25, you'll be authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement for professional consulting and related services as a lobbyist with Huntsville Direct Communications Incorporating. This is a total of $48,000. It was requested by my office. This is our lobbying contract with Mr. Raby. On page 26 through 27, you'll be authorizing a renewal and payment of premium for certain insurance coverage. This is our crime insurance and is doubled up and will be discussed in finance today. On page 28 through 29, you'll be authorizing amendment number 4 to the fiscal year 2024 Water and Sewer Reserve for Future Improvements Fund budget. This was presented in finance last week. On page 30, you'll be authorizing the Budgets and Strategic Planning Division of the Accounting and Finance to amend the 2012 CDBG-DR Action Plan of the City of Tuscaloosa. And this, I believe, is on finance this afternoon?
Projects.
No, it's on projects this afternoon, I'm sorry. On page 31, you'll be approving job class specifications for a chemical spray technician. This came from admin last week. On pages 32 and 33, you'll be introducing zoning amendment number 1517 regarding 3.08 acres located at 4005 Stillman Boulevard from R2 to BN. This comes from the Planning Commission. On pages 34 and 35, you'll be introducing zoning amendment number 1518, rezoning approximately a half acre located at 405 15th Street from BNS to R4 to BN. This also comes from the Planning Commission. On page 36, you'll be amending exhibits A and B of section 19-42 of the Code of Tuscaloosa for construction facilities and grounds. This adds the chemical spray technician and came from admin on the 5th. On page 37, you'll be amending section 19-14B of the Code of Tuscaloosa regarding the Accident Review Board. This again was discussed in admin last week. On page 38, you'll be adopting a severe weather preparedness sales tax holiday for certain covered items for 2024. This was discussed in finance on the 5th. On page 39, you'll be authorizing amendment number 4 to the fiscal year 2024 general fund budget. This again was discussed in finance on the 5th. On page 40, you'll be authorizing amendment number 4 to 2024 Elevate Tuscaloosa fund budget. Again, this was discussed in finance on the 5th. On page 41, you'll be appointing members to the Tuscaloosa City Sister Cities International Board of Directors. On page 42 through 43, you'll be adopting a resolution regarding a request by the Tuscaloosa City Board of Education for action under section 217F of the Alabama Constitution and a school funding proposal made thereunder. This was initially discussed in in finance on October the 31st and was subject to public hearing on December 5th. On page 44, you'll be setting December 19th as a date for a public hearing to consider the expansion of the occupancy limit for spades located at 1735 Culver Road. This was discussed in admin last week. On page 45, you'll be setting January 9th as the date for public hearing to consider the adoption of zoning amendment 1517. This comes from Planning Commission. On page 46, you'll be setting January 9th as the date for public hearing to consider the adoption of zoning amendment 1518. And again, that comes from the Planning Commission. Are there any questions for me?
Any questions for
So will somebody brief us on the items coming from Planning Commission?
Those will be briefed. Those are just setting the public hearings and for introduction, so they will be
The
briefed.
first two were rezonings, right?
Yes, sir, but just the introduction. And so you'll
Just
have
the introduction.
Yes, sir. So you'll have the public hearing on the 9th, and I believe Mr. Pons will brief you in pre-council on the 9th before they come up for action. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Today we got projects, finance, and then no other committee meetings till council at 6. Historic Preservation meets Wednesday, December 13th at 5. On Friday, TPD Strategic Review Task Force meet at the firing range, and then planning and zoning Monday, December 18th. Any council members or anyone have any comments or any communications? I will say last week, I can never remember a week like last week. Can you, Mayor? We had 2 ribbon cuttings, a groundbreaking, Super 7, the debate.
We had a lot going on.
It was amazing. It
Well,
was just unbelievable.
Wednesday afternoon at 4 o'clock at the Belk Center. Y'all come look and see what, we're gonna do out there.
Is it from 4 to 6?
Is it on there? No, that's not up there.
We can add it on there for tonight.
Well, that's okay. We'll talk, well, I'll bring it up tonight, but we can add it for tonight too, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for the reminder.
But I hope a crowd of people come out. I told them, I've been telling everybody, Mayor, how you're excited about the pickleball courts.
I know. It's not a serve, is it first serve?
I don't know.
I got some news about something. I need to
Brendan
share.
loves pickleball, he talks to me about it all the time.
There's a lot of people that love pickleball.
I'll let him have the honor.
Well, they have celebrity pickleball on ESPN now.
It's popular, I mean, it's popular.
Okay, is there a motion we go into executive session?
Second.
Tom, is that
Yes.
motion second?
Yes, sir. As the mayor indicated, we have 3 items for executive session, and as your city attorney and an attorney licensed to practice law in the state of Alabama, I can certify that these topics are appropriate for executive session to discuss preliminary negotiations involving matters of trade or commerce in which the governmental body is in competition with private individuals or entities or other governmental bodies in Alabama or in other states or foreign nations. The discussion and that the discussions would have a detrimental effect upon the competitive position of a party to the negotiations or upon the location, retention, expansion, or upgrading of a public employee or business entity in the area served by the governmental body if disclosed outside of executive session.
Okay, we have a motion second, going to executive session. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?